and I'll be joined by Rhonda, Julie, and John today. We're going to discuss side hustles for dental assistants. So if everyone can just go by one and tell us your names and just some more information about yourselves.
Go ahead, Rhonda.
Okay, I'm Ronda. Jules just kind of did half of it for me. Ronda Holman, 20-year plus dental assistant. I work in a general practice, and I'm the airway advocate for the practice. So I focus a lot on, connecting the signs and the symptoms with our pediatric and our adult population. And I am passionate about our career field. Like, it's almost obsessive, which is okay, because I didn't have anybody that was obsessed about it when I was coming up. And I figured now if Jules and I just double down on all of the obsession that we have, we can really make an impact. And take it away, Jules.
I'm Julie. I'm a dental assistant of over 28 years. I'm currently in a general practice also. I do lots of things. I try to help as much as I can and educate myself as much as I can and do things to help our profession out a little bit better. And I like to craft and art and make things, and that's my little side hustle.
That's incredible. I'm so happy to have you guys back on here. Last time I got to watch, Tiger was joined by you guys. So this is just so exciting. I'm adding back John so he can share a little bit with us. We're just waiting for him to connect. I think he's just having connection issues or something's going on. I'm going to send him a message in the chat. Oh, there he goes.
There he is. There he is. Back on.
Yep. That's awesome. I think all of us have a lot to share. So I'm a dental assistant myself. So I will share a little bit of like what I know my friends have done as far as side hustles. And I'm sure you guys know way more than I do, but a little bit. I'll share here and there. Yeah. Hey, John.
Is he frozen?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'll just ask him, can you hear us? Oh, Emily is here from France. Hi, Emily. I'm so glad you can make it today.
Hi, Emily.
Yay.
We did a podcast or a webinar earlier, and we had a lady from Kenya there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
I know. I was like, aw.
Is she a dental assistant?
Yeah, she's a dental assistant in Kenya, and she wants to know more about infection control. So she joined us. It was really cool. Yeah, it was really cool.
Wow. Well, Emily loves to learn about dental assisting and just the way dentistry works in the United States. She was on one of our webinars earlier this month when we had the International Reflection. So, Emily, we're happy that you're here again, joining us in the chat. John, I don't know, you're frozen all the time. I don't know if you can hear us. Can you say something? No. All right. Well, we'll get started. Let's hope that John can connect. Oh, okay. We can hear you now.
We can hear you now.
Yeah. I don't know. He disappeared again. All right, guys. So let's just get started. Let's start talking about this big topic of side hustles for dental assistants. So, Rhonda, since you were the first one to give us an intro on yourself, we'll be picking on you to be the first one just to share some things with our viewers today.
Okay, so I'm not alone when I say that almost every dental assistant has more than one job. Not just within our career field, at the practice, but a lot of us venture out to make side money, right? Just to compensate our income because the passion doesn't pay the bills. And sometimes you need a little bit more. So I remember when I first started assisting, I would waitress at night. So I would get off of my shift at the clinic at 5 and start my waitressing shift at 5:30. And then I ended up picking up other jobs on the weekends. And once I realized that, I wanted to have children and settle down, but I still had this desire to keep hustling, I realized that technology, because I'm 40, but technology caught up with my need to fill that void. And there's a lot of opportunities, whether you're crafty or you want to be like a a third-party seller, or you want to have a craft that people pay you for, there's so many opportunities to keep your day job as a dental assistant and still be able to provide for your family with extra income doing different things. So now I sell ultrasonic toothbrushes and whitening strips. I'm a face painter, which is kind of slow right now, considering I'm not supposed to, we just haven't gotten there. So, oh gosh. So right now, there's some jobs that don't pay money and people are fulfilled that way, whether you volunteer for your church or like I'm the PTO president for my school, my kids' school. And it's just that need to give back and do more. And if you can find something that fills both of those boxes, not only extra income, but that fulfillment thing, then I think the skies are the limit. I mean, just because you're a dental assistant during the day doesn't mean you can't do something at night.
Wow. I love that, Rhonda. Thank you so much for sharing. I think all of us who are watching right now, all the dental assistants, we're learning so much. I totally agree with you that you brought up an excellent point that, I love dental assisting. It's honestly like my entire life, and the patients, they just become your family, and so I'm not willing to give that up. Like, it's so hard to, and the same thing, like you mentioned with like the financial standpoint, it's just hard to have a family and then at the same time not have a side hustle, but you love your career, so you got to just keep going. And I love that. So thank you so much for sharing. Julie, what about you?
No, well, like I said, I do it because I enjoy working. And even though I've had, I've done lots of things. I've speaked, I've coached, I worked in a practice, I teach infection control, I taught dental assisting, but I've always had two jobs at the same time. I think it's because we can't sit still and our brains are always going. And like, what can we do next? And, we have to keep busy, and all this downtime we have right now, we're not, I'm like, I think I've painted everything in the house. Now what do I got to do? So it's really, I've made some candles now. I'm into candle making. So it's, I think we're always, we're good hard workers. That's what I think. We have really good hard working, and, you're never going to get anything sitting on your butt in, your life. You got to make it what you want. So things aren't going to come to you. You got to go out and get them. So, yeah.
That's so true. Oh my gosh. Very true. John, I'm going to add you back. Let's see if this works for like the fifth time. Okay. All right. I'm going to try again. Just give us a moment. There he goes. John.
I wonder if it's his internet connection.
Yeah. I don't know what it is.
Is he in the basement? Hello.
John, are you in the basement? I'm in the basement actually right now, but thankfully I have a good connection here. John, we can hear you. We can see you. Can you say something?
Yes, I was able to. I jumped on my phone for whatever reason. My iPad was being difficult, so
okay.
I figured I'd try it out from the phone.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for being flexible and switching over. So we just had Rhonda and Julie share a little bit with us about them, their names, what they do as far as side hustles and all that fun stuff. So can you just jump in and share with everyone your name? Well, we know it's John. We kept saying like, hey, John can't connect, so everybody knows. So you're famous. Just go ahead and share with us a little bit about yourself and your side hustle.
Well, I'm sad I missed Julie and Ronda's because I don't know much about them. So it'd been nice to know.
Let's do it again.
No.
We can talk about it again.
I'm just kidding. We get to talk a lot, so it's always good to hear it again though, because these two are truly inspirational, not to everyone else, but even to myself. So I'm thankful every day that our paths have crossed. Honestly, It makes me feel good every day, right?
We're Packers, yeah.
Julie's questionable because of her test teams definitely makes things questionable. So I'm a male assistant, of course. So typically that's the first thing people want to know. Why a male assistant? So basically, my recruiter talked me into it. I mean, what can I say? My father wanted me to join the Air Force, and I needed a skill set. So, according to my ASVAB scores, medical, seemed like a good fit, and the recruiter kind of threw this out, and it made sense. You know, I thought dentistry was safe. Of course, now I'm questioning it, right, with everything going on, but
different time, yeah.
But overall, I mean, we'll get back to where we were, but you know, for the most part, I thought stability, not necessarily you know, health safe. I just thought stability. Hey, people always need their teeth worked on, and it's a good career field. So that's how I even ended up in this field. So from there, working in offices, you know, dental assistants, obviously we feel that we don't get paid enough. We're underpaid. So that starts, you know, for those of us with those ambitions, leading into other avenues of how do we make more money? What can we do? What can we do to better ourselves and our families and our situations? And that's what starts opening up these doors of side hustles and businesses. And that's where we're at today. So, you know, for me, my team, we talk about, we sell ultrasonic toothbrushes, whitening strips, and that company is actually evolving to, they want to do more with hygiene products. So they've recently launched into UV lighting. So the wands, the boxes, with everything going on with COVID-19, they recognize that there's a need for those products. So they're kind of pivoting, and you know, that's what I like to see. I don't like to see a company that just kind of focuses on one thing. I tell people all the time, right now with this big scare, it's those companies that are adapting. Those are the ones that are going to thrive and survive. You know, it's
right.
We have a local company here. We have a local company here in Pittsburgh that I saw in the news. They made backpacks out of recycled plastic. And what did they do? Instead of shutting down, they started making face masks, shields. So, you know, that's a great model for the company. So that's what I like about this company. They're now going to, instead of all dental, they're going to be known as Hygienico, and they're going to be offering a lot more products that cover health overall, not just focusing on oral health.
Wow. That sounds so inspirational.
Oh, John, you can't forget the kicker is dental assistants are their go-to affiliates.
Oh,
you know, not a lot of people focus on dental assistants. A lot of them say, oh, you know, like there's certain toothbrushes, I won't name names, but it was just dental hygienists. So it was up until last year where only dental hygienists were allowed to sell or endorse the product to get, you know, fees from it. And and it's the first company that I know of that said, hey, you guys, dental assistants, you're underserved as far as opportunities to make money outside the practice. How can we focus on you? Because we know there's more of you than there are dentists and hygienists. And we know that the patients truly listen to you and they trust you. And we have enough experience and knowledge to know when something is good and when something is bad. So I thought that was really cool part of it is, you know, we're talking about dental assistants and side hustles. And if you find a company, no matter what it sells, that puts value in you, it makes you that much more adapt to succeed in that avenue of sales or whatever it is.
Yeah, Ronda's absolutely right. And see, this is why Ronda's such a good teammate, because she caught that right away. They do. We have a dental assistant private group, and they reached out to us, and that's one of the first things that they said that caught our attention. They said, we realized how much interaction you have with patients talk to you. Right. Yes, this other company, they focus on the hygienist talking to patients, but they also realize how much an assistant over the course of time, not necessarily just a 6-month pro fee, that you do engage with a patient. So, you know, that they like that relationship and they like that trust. So that's why they started reaching out to us to begin with. So, you know, that's definitely one of the intriguing things of why we even wanted to work with this company.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. John, thank you so much for sharing all of this with us. It actually brought, when Ronda was talking about all this right now, it brought me to my next point, and I had a thought. What about that phrase we hear so often, I'm just a dental assistant? Like, can we talk about this right now? Like, I don't know. I just thought about it and want to talk to you guys.
Well, I think, for me personally, I think I've witnessed it so many times.
Yeah.
Sometimes dental assistants can be like a beaten dog. You know, it's they're abused. You know, the dentist will say, "Oh, I could train a monkey to do your job," and you know, if you hear that enough, and you don't stand up for yourself, it can take a toll on you. And I think that some assistants, that's why they use that expression. And you know, Ronda, Jules, and I, we certainly go out of our way the second someone says that, they post it to say, don't ever think like that. You know, you provide great service. You're great at your job. Don't think negatively like that. Maybe just because you've been told that, and that, monkey, I'd like to see a monkey do my job. But I think that's where it stems from. Like they get told that
definitely.
so many times.
Oh
They get told that so many times that they want to believe that, and it's not the truth at all.
Wow, yeah, that's crazy. Julie, do you have anything to add on to that?
No, I just think we have to place value in ourselves. And if one office is not working for you, or finds your value, or knows your value, then you need to find another office. Because if you truly love what you're doing and love being a dental assistant, you'll know if you're the right fit or not. So you really just need to pick up and move, or, you know, go to them and say, hey, look, I, you know, want to be more. Why can't I have, you know, more education and, you know, know more things and do more things and invest and have them invest in you. If they don't invest in you, then it's time to find an office that will. And if you really truly don't love it, I say go find something you love doing, you know, whether it's working at Target or Walmart, or, you know, being go to school, back to school, be a nurse. I mean, there's tons of things. You just have to love what you do. You shouldn't be stuck in a job that you don't love to do. You don't look forward. If you have to get out of work and say, oh, I have to work again, then it's not the job for you.
Oh, absolutely.
Any job.
What is that when it says you'll never work a day in your life if you do what you love?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And to piggyback off of what Jules just said, it's instead of asking for a raise, ask for more jobs. So a lot of dentists have X amount of dollars allocated to that dental assistant position, regardless of who fills that position. This is in my business budget. I pay this amount for my hygienist, this for my admin team. So when you're ready to ask for, say you're not quite prepared to jump into a side hustle and you want to, you know, start at home, say, I want more jobs. What does that look like? I want to be your PR director. I want to be boots on the grounds. I want to go do ground marketing. Or like with me, I was like, can I run your social medias? And they're like, yeah. And then that just opened up a whole new door. Once I had to learn how to do it for my practice, then I could do it for me. And that evolved into different businesses and different ways that I can financially bring in more income outside of the practice. But I think it's super important. Instead of asking for a raise, say, hey, doc, I want more jobs. What else can I do for you outside of my current job description that can make me more money with your business? It's a great way. I mean, people just don't even think of asking it like that.
No, it's super rare. What other, you mentioned, like, what else can you do? So social media, what else can dental assistants do within their practice to expand their skill set?
This is Jules. She's going to tell you what she did.
Well, there's a lot. I mean, they can become the infection control coordinator. There's, they can hone the OSHA, you know, part of it. They can talk about being more for treatment, know more about insurance, skill sets, different things with the latest in technology, you know, become very proficient at it. With CAD CAM dentistry, there's so much out there, and a lot of the offices have it and are getting scanners and stuff. And don't be afraid of it. Just dive right into it. And ask about it instead of the doctor telling you, you know, just go ask about it. There's a ton of stuff that they can do inside their practice that can help grow it. You know,
I mean, we've got dental assistants that make commission off of their Invisalign treatment plans. So, you know, they are literally leading the way in whatever program they're working in. Like, I'm the airway advocate. I'm the only assistant designated towards that clientele. Or you have the Invisalign leader, or you have the one who you just does something above and beyond to bring in more revenue for that practice. And there's lots of ways the dentist can deal with that financially. It could be, you know, added on to their a regular salary. It could be like a bonus system. It could be, you know, you go and you get like when you sell a car, what's the commission? Commission. So exactly. I mean, there's just a lot of doctors. Maybe they haven't been taught that we can do more than what they thought we could do.
Exactly. That's a great point. You know what? Teresa actually jumped in here and she said assistants can do marketing other than just social media marketing.
Teresa runs a couple practices. Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Do you want to join us, Teresa? We can add you on if you want.
She's in the car. I don't know if she can.
Oh, she's in the car. Okay. No problem. Well, if you get to your destination, you want to join us, just jump in the chat. Let me know. I can add you in. These are all great points. John, do you have anything to add on to this? What else can dental assistants do within their office? I know Julie mentioned so many different options, but maybe there's something that we left out.
Well, they both made excellent points. One thing, one of the great things about us connecting all over is with these groups, you get so many ideas. You get the creative juices flowing. So you can see, hey, our office isn't doing this and it's working well in this office. Why don't I research it? Whether it's whitening strips or the toothbrushes or just another product in general. Like, so many offices, they don't even offer any types of products. So now your patients are, that's so much money left on the table because your patients are going and buying these products elsewhere. So as a dental assistant, research that, bring it to your office. And, even if it's something like Invisalign and say, hey, I think that our office would benefit from this product, and certainly work out these commissions like Ronda's talking about, because, I used to work at an office that every time we sold a whitening, like we got paid per arch. So, if you're talking to your patients that day, they're coming in for a first time visit, they say, hey, I'm interested in whitening. Now you're taking the impressions and you're getting a bonus based on that. If they're doing the whitening gels or if you're selling strips, whatever it is, I would just suggest right away, hey, I'm going to bring this to the office. I think we should do some kind of commission system, because if you're just bringing it out to the office, that's great. But I think the excitement eventually will fizzle if that just becomes part of your routine and your salary's not changing.
Yeah, it's a head game for sure.
Wow. I'm sorry, 1 second. Teresa actually said that she's in the car waiting for the fire alarm to stop at Walmart so I can join for about 15 minutes or until the fire truck leaves. Wow. All right. Hey, Teresa, I'm going to add you in, okay? Just give me 1 second. Here we go. Funny. Wow. I hope everyone's okay. That's crazy. So I'm just waiting for you to accept. It says waiting for Teresa to accept. Yep. There we go. Oh, hi. Thank you for joining us. Can you hear us, Teresa? Let's see. There we go. And unmute.
Her face.
Determined. She
just wants to go inside Walmart. No, Teresa, we can't hear you. I turned on your microphone, but for some reason we can't hear you. If you can hear us, can you just wave? No, I think she may have bad connection. Yeah. So.
As we're sitting here thinking about, there's a million of jobs. John and I have seen it, and so like in the worldwide group, like dental assistants are working for Lyft and Uber Eats.
Yes.
Like, Jules, you've seen it where like all of these assistants didn't think they could do other stuff, but because
cosmetic companies,
wild.
That's so
I was just gonna say that. I was just gonna say I had a couple of my friends reach out to me and they told me, I've been furloughed, so I started doing Instacart because it's just so in demand right now. So very good point. I'm so glad you brought that up. Yep. And then Julie mentioned something that got me thinking, what about all of those assistants that are working for a practice that is really not the best fit for them at this time? I think with the whole coronavirus thing, we really had some time to, start thinking like, what can I do differently? Where can I start looking for a different, forever practice, essentially? Where can these assistants get started? What kind of advice do we have for them? Like, where do you start looking for a new practice?
I would say, get on your local, we use Dental Postnet. They're a great resume. They have a ton of skills on there and stuff like that. Or, or your local Craigslist. I mean, or just word of mouth. Reach out to your friends that are dental assistants and say, hey, I'm looking to change offices. If you get offices that are hiring, let me know. But get yourself a resume together and, showcase your skills, and that showcases you. Don't cut and paste from someone else. But just get out there and put yourself out there, and just kind of look at things that you want in a career, in a dental, like you said, forever home, forever practice, or whatever. What all the hours or the pay or the procedures. I mean, I'm not going to take a job that I work Monday through Friday and it's an endo office, because I'm not a big fan of endo and I don't want to work Fridays. So I wouldn't take the job. Even if they paid me $30 an hour, I'm not going there. I'm not working Friday. So you have to really find what's going to, because this job is so flexible. This career is so flexible, and there's so many practices. And, maybe you could get a group with 4 of your friends that say, oh, I only want to work 2 days. I only want to work 2 days, and find a practice. Say, hey, she's going to work 2. I'm going to work 2. And he's going to work 2.
Yeah.
But possibilities are endless.
Exactly. And what about those assistants that work at multiple practices? I had an assistant that worked with me in the past, and she's worked, for 2 days for one office, and then 3 days she was with us. I think that's an excellent idea too. And I feel like whoever's getting started out within the dental assisting field, it gets them to kind of like understand what they like better. So if they're working for an endo office and the other one's pediatric or multi-specialty or oral surgery, I think it's a great way to get started. So if we have younger dental assistants watching our webinar right now, I think that's a great thing too. So maybe just starting part-time here, part-time there, it'll get you more of like a feel what works better for you. John, do you have anything to add on to here as far as looking for a new job as a dental assistant post-COVID-19?
Well, Jules talking about the local groups, local Facebook groups. We have one here in Pittsburgh, and it's a great resource because everybody's in there, dentist, hygienist, but I feel like I can gloat a little bit because I've said that dental assistants are going to have their pick of the litter. And in the matter of the last 2-3 days, that's exactly what I'm seeing. Assistants are not going back to their previous office. Now, that's where I think you got to be cautious because they're not going back for a reason. So that's why a lot of these jobs are opening up. So you have to be thorough with your questioning. Don't be shy because you're trying to pick a new office. If you're trying to leave your office for one reason, chances are that maybe this position's opening up for the same reasons. So don't think it's one of these grass is always greener situations, but some assistants, they feel disrespected, and it might not necessarily be disrespect. It's just their version of the disrespect because, we read it all the time. Like assistants are collecting unemployment and the dentists want to get back to work. Right. I feel like, Ronda, Jules, and I, this is something we talk about and something we try and guide assistants on. You're making more money on employment. So your dentist wants you to come back to work. Well, if your only reason for you don't want to come back to work is you're making more money on unemployment, that's not the best of reasons. If you have childcare issues, if your dentist isn't providing proper PPE, those are legitimate reasons. But if your dentist is going out of their way to, purchase that equipment, and you have childcare resolved, it's time to get back to work. You can't hold it. Everybody's complaining about hygienists holding an office hostage. The assistants can't be the same way. I'm not one of these people that was laid off and collecting unemployment. My pay has stayed the same the whole time. And, I'm not like resentful against an assistant that was able to make a little more money this extra time. But whenever I see, and unfortunately these posts, if you're messaging your dentist and you're kind of coming off as that, these dentists are sharing those in other groups, about, oh, look at my assistant now, being a pain. And that's what's going on. So, it's a great time to be an assistant because you are going to have a lot of options. You just have to be thorough, do your research, and pick an office that sounds right for you, and hopefully it works out.
Very good idea. Do we have any questions for John, for Julie and Rhonda? If anybody has questions, just jump in the chat. We'll be happy to answer them. Rhonda, is there anything that comes to mind when you think about finding a position for a dental assistant after COVID quarantine is over?
So, Jules already hit the nail on the head. I suggest that you have your photo on your resume and you make it super clean, and you highlight the stuff you're good at. You don't want to put down there that I'm an expert in temporary fabrication, and then you're on your working interview and they're like, here's number 30. You're like, because you probably copy and pasted it from somebody else's resume.
Sure.
I think it's important though. If you are interviewing for a position, it goes both ways. You have to hear what that dentist wants out of their assistant, and you need to tell that dentist what you want out of your career in their business. Right. So I think what happens is a lot of assistants might be hungry to get that job. Yeah. And we'll just be like the yes man. Oh, yes, 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 yes. And they're like, are you okay with this? Are you okay with that? And you're like, yes, yes, yes. And then, a week or two goes by and you're like, why didn't I say this was my clear, defined expectations? If they're going to pay me under what I'm asking, why didn't I set it in stone that I'm going to get a evaluation in 4 weeks to go to the pay that I wanted once they see that I'm worth it? A lot of assistants just assume that if they take a pay cut to take a position, that their hard work and ethic will equal, the dentist seeing the value in them and then automatically give them more money. And you just can't be naive about it. You have to set everything out very clearly and defined when you go get that new job.
Yeah, that's a great point. I like the fact that you mentioned the photo on the resume and just highlighting, like the biggest skills. That's a great point. I think most assistants, like when we're looking for jobs, I don't really know. Like when we had people applying in our office, most did not. You know what? Not even one had their photo on their resume. Everybody just had, like their skills, wherever they've worked before, past experiences. So that's a great point. I'm going to make sure we include that for our notes after the webinar. Another thing I wanted to talk about today was how to find your side hustle. Like, how do assistants find that, this is the right thing for them? So Rhonda mentioned toothbrushes. We talked about, whitening strips and then, crafts. How does somebody get started? Like, how do you get started?
I think it's more of a hobby. Yeah. Like I started, teaching as a hobby. I started, reaching out, and then it turned into a job. And then, I like to craft as a hobby. So then I kind of turned that into an Etsy shop. So, you turn your passion into a hobby, and then you can say, oh, well, I can make some money at this. So there's lots of dental assistants that are very crafty and artsy, or they like to walk dogs. So they have a dog walking service on the side, or they make bandanas for dogs, or they do pet grooming, or they might do nails. A lot of dental assistants have gone from cosmetology to dental assisting, so they might still keep their fingers wet. And so it's just finding what you like to do, because it is a side hustle, so it should probably be something you enjoy.
Yeah, of course.
So that was my evolution. So we were at the fair in the year 2010. And there was this booth, and they were selling glitter tattoos, and I'd never seen that. I was like, wow. And so you'd sit down, they'd let you pick out a stencil, they put this body glue on you and whatever glitter color you wanted. And the thing would last for a week. And I'm like, this is the best thing ever. So I go online, I buy my home kit, right? And I start putting them all over me and my kid. And the next thing you know, I'm like, well, everybody loves this. And so I started eventually getting more products and more products. And then I ended up doing a glitter tattoo booth of my own. And then I thought, well, it's really cold where I live a lot of the time, so nobody's going to have their skin exposed, but I can see their face. So then I started learning how to face paint, and then my business turned into a face painting business. And it's the same thing Jules is talking about. It's something I like to do. I got better at it, and then I figured out how to make money off of it.
That's amazing.
We have one assistant in the group there that she makes beautiful cookies. Like, these cookies are awesome. Like, they're like a piece of artwork. And I've had them shipped to an office in Maryland, because she's only in Maryland, so she can only do, I think, in Maryland. And she did a little picture of their dog, and it was for it was so cute. And it was she's got really good talent, but she's putting to use because she's booked up for cookies. So
wow. So just like you mentioned, it goes from passion to hobby and then to side hustle. That's it. So those 3 points, I'm going to make sure I include in my notes. I love that. So passion to hobby to side hustle. John, and how about you? What advice do you have for dental assistants who are interested in finding their side hustle? Anything they can do to get started?
Well, I think you need to look at what you want to do. And if you're looking at a company, what does that company do? So if you think you're going to sign up to be a fitness coach, you might want to make sure you like working out, right? Because that's probably number one. You
can't sit on the couch and eat bonbons and be a fitness coach. What the heck?
Yeah, so that's probably my first one is make sure it's something you even can see yourself doing a couple years down the road. Because you don't want to 2-3 years get into it and be like, you know what, I hated this from the get-go. And now you're essentially rebuilding, right? You're starting over. So make sure it's something that you at least like, or something you at least want to learn about. Like maybe you don't know anything about it, but it's something that interests you. So I got into running and into fitness coaching. And then for me, they would always hold these training seminars and they would hold these calls. And that's how I was able to learn about social media and also about all these different platforms and diagrams. And then that was able to help whenever this health movement came along and people started selling toothpaste and toothbrushes. And I was like, wow, this perfectly aligns with my knowledge and my passion. So that's how, whenever they contacted us and said, hey, would you be interested in promoting this? I was like, absolutely, because I felt like I had enough skill set at that point to post on social media. And obviously what I do day to day, convert that to talk to patients and customers, whether it was messaging or face-to-face. So absolutely, at least like what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
thank you so much for sharing.
Be a trailblazer, guys. Don't wait for something to fall in your lap. The common theme between John and Julie and I is we're entrepreneurs. Yes. We don't look like your typical entrepreneur. Like a dentist, that's an entrepreneur, right? They go out and they start a private practice. They're a dentist. They're an entrepreneur. Yep. You need to find whatever. It's not about, if you fall back on I don't know how, then you're not an entrepreneur and you're not going to make it. But if you have the drive, you have the passion, and you never tell yourself I don't know how, the sky is literally your limit, guys. You can do anything you want. Yeah,
and don't be afraid to take that leap, because I work with girls every day. I hear them talk about ideas 2-3 years now. And I honestly think it's a great idea, but I have zero interest in trying to get into what they're talking about. But, they love pets and they talk about pet products and pet ideas. And I tell them, I say, just do it. But they're in a safe dental job, we work at a VA. So they're just like thinking like, oh, I'm safe. I'm a federal employee. So for them to take the jump, it's probably never going to happen, even though I've been listening to it for 2 or 3 years. But you got to take some risk. If you want to change, you have to make changes, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because nobody's going to do it for you.
Yeah. And I've listened to it for so much now that as soon as they start talking about it, I just essentially walk away. Like I feel like I've said it so many times and wasted so much of my time and encouragement that now they're essentially just saying it for attention. So you just got to pull the trigger.
Yeah. Very true. And I really like the point that Ronda mentioned about the drive and the passion. I think a lot of dental assistants are curious, like where can they get started with side hustles? But you just gotta have that drive, you guys. Like you just gotta want to do it.
And I say it starts with things that you like to do.
Yes.
Very true.
Like whether it's painting, crafting, grocery shopping for the elderly. I mean, there's tons of stuff that you can do on the side. You just have to enjoy doing it, because why make more work for yourself if you're not going to enjoy it? I mean, if you already don't enjoy your first job, why would you want to not enjoy your second job?
Yeah, that's a great point. Julie, I agree. Like if somebody doesn't like dental assisting, don't do it. You know, go do something.
But else. I mean, if you stay in and you're making great money, great. But don't go get a side hustle that you're not going to enjoy doing. Make sure it's something you enjoy.
Exactly. And if it's something that you do on a Saturday, you got to wake up in the morning and tell yourself, hey, this is what I'm going to do because I love it. And even though it's a Saturday, it's my thing. I love it. Like
I miss going to my studio on Saturdays and working all day and painting and crafting and meeting people.
Yeah. There you go. That's how you get started.
John, this is the part where John jumps in and talks about the train really quick before you segue into something else. Tell these guys, I mean, they're already on a webinar about side hustles, so they're this much closer to getting S done, right? Talk about the train real quick.
GSD.
Yeah. So, you know, anytime someone, maybe they'll do something for a couple weeks and they're like, you know what, this isn't for me. This isn't working. I'm working so hard. That's typically like what I'll hear. And, you know, a lot of the entrepreneurs that I listen to and read about, they like to say a lot of times it's like a train, like that steam locomotive. You've seen it take off. It takes a good bit to get the wheels turning. But once that thing gets going, that momentum goes, it's very hard to stop if something's on its tracks. And that's what, when you do these side hustles and these businesses, that's what happens. Like, you have to get into the habit of posting and contacting people and, you know, wanting to learn more and feed your brain. You know, I'm constantly reading new material, looking up podcasts, you know, watching webinars, whatever it is, whatever can help. You know, we live in a great time because we have access to all this information, and a lot of it's free. It's free. So take advantage of it. I actually rarely even listen to music in the car anymore. I listen. I'm feeding I have an hour and a half drive to work every day, and I'm just feeding my brain. So that's what you have to do. Like, do I want to listen to music? Yeah. But do I also want to, you know, do better things? Obviously more than I want to rock out in the car, right? So
sometimes you gotta rock out in the car too. So,
every once in a while I'll treat myself. You know, every once in a while I'll treat myself. But you know, for the most part, you know, your brain eventually gets hungry, is what happens. It gets hungry. Like, it's great. You know, it's great listening to, you know, Don't Stop Believing for the, you know, 1,000th time. But, you know, eventually your brain's like, hey, give me more. So that's what you got to do.
And you plateau too, right, John? I mean, like, you'll learn everything you wanted to learn, and then you got to keep going. If you plateau out, you're never going to achieve that entrepreneurial benefit of making that real extra money.
Right.
Exactly.
You can't. You got to break through that plateau for sure.
Yeah. Got to kick that door in.
All right. Yep. I'm taking some notes for our users here that I'll add at the end. I had a thought. Can everyone share, what have you done during quarantine to grow your side hustle?
What haven't we done, Jules?
Maybe that's a better question.
I spent some money in marketing, boosting my Facebook posts, but it's working. So sold a lot of candles. I've sold so many candles that I don't have any wax to make candles, so now I have to buy. I ordered wax, but since, you know, everything is on slow go, I ordered, it should be here Tuesday and enough time to make and ship out. But I made that but of boosting a post, and so the candles I had are gone. And I have to I had over orders. So needless to say, which is a good thing. But just marketing it, you know, have these guys do a side hustle Thursday, so other assistants can share their side hustles or side things so that people can like their pages and grow that network, which is great because it's so hard. There are groups that people just sell. Every post is a selling, or me. And we don't want to be like that. We want to kind of sprinkle, sprinkle the goods throughout, and we kind of limit to that. What do you call it? I don't want to say prostituting yourself.
Pimping yourself out.
But you just kind of, you know, sprinkle it here and there. And, you know, we don't, you know, to see, you know, all that type of stuff. But, you know, I've got a ton of emails about buy this, buy that. And this would be a blue light thingy for this, and get your face shield. And I'm like, man, my email box is just, I'm not working, dude. I can't.
Yeah.
We don't need no face shields right now.
That's a great point. Yeah.
So understanding the market and the current climate. And then these are all things that you can learn, like John said, between podcasts and reading books. You understand how to navigate all of it. Is Teresa back?
Yes, I just added her. Hey!
Hey!
Thank you for joining us.
Sure thing.
Awesome. Yep, we can hear you. We can see you. Teresa, just to kind of go over what we're talking about, everyone's sharing what they have done during quarantine to help grow their side hustle. So if you have anything to add, jump in and let us know.
I've pretty much probably been doing the same thing as John, because I do the dentista, and then I also do another side hustle with healthy living things. So I kind of do both. So
very nice.
And you marketed for the practice. Tell her a little bit about that.
Oh yeah.
You were talking about assistants like
I
you
market for the practice.
You work for two different practices.
And I don't just do social media marketing. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
I don't just do social media marketing. I work for a specialty office, so I'm able to go out to the GDs that refer to us and do the gifts, of course, of that nature. But we try to be different, because everybody gets candy, everybody gets cookies. One of our big things that we've done is we rented an ice cream truck, and we took the ice cream truck around to all the GDs and just said, come out, pick out what you want, and go back in. So
move on.
Huge hit, because nobody in our area had ever done anything like that. And I mean, we were busy for months and months, and it was in the summertime, which was great, because even though the kids are out of school for coming in for your propies, we still slow down a little bit. So that was a really great idea. And then one thing that we're doing now, since the COVID's happening, is my dentist was able to get a hold of like 250 of the face shields, and then about 50 of some N95. So we're going to make a basket and go around to the GDs and just give them, hey, here's a welcome back little, gift.
Wow. That's so awesome. Teresa, thank you so much for sharing. I'm taking some notes here for our users, for all of the assistants that are looking to find ideas for their side hustles and just getting back to work after quarantine and after COVID. Something that I discussed earlier this morning with Julie was the checklist. The checklist for dental assistant side hustles. Julie, can you please share with us what that's
all about? I don't
about?
have a checklist for side hustles. Our checklist was for how to reopen your office.
Okay, that's actually very, very useful. Perfect. We can talk about that.
I can make a checklist for a side hustle. I don't know what it would entail, but I just say wing it. Get yourself a free website. Start an Instagram. Instagram is where it's at. If you need to start a side hustle, start out on Instagram. Funnel it to Facebook, because all the younger millennium people, now they're on TikTok. We should not be on TikTok. I guess I'm too old for TikTok.
Ronda's on TikTok.
I'm killing it. I have 260 followers.
A lot of the younger generation that might buy have the Instagram. But no, we did a checklist of like certain things as a dental assistant you should open. But I can email this, and you can email it to your listeners.
Yeah, so. Can you please? Yeah, absolutely. Can we briefly talk about that right now? Actually, I think it'll be super beneficial for all the assistants watching the webinar right now. I know a lot of people are going back to work on Monday. A lot of our users have been calling me and just telling me, hey, like, we're opening on Monday. Where can I get my PPE last minute? So let's just briefly talk about what ideas and what suggestions we have for them as far as the checklist.
For me, it's the whole communication of the new protocol that you're going to put in your office. Who's responsible for what role? What is going to be the follow through for patients? Are we screening patients right? The PPE thing, do we have the proper PPE to see patients? Are we following the guidelines? Things like that. Have we maintenance their autoclave if they've been sitting a while? Flushed our water lines? So things that kind of you took a week off from work. What do you do when you reopen? These are things you all need to do. So and just following proper protocols, because no matter what state you're in, you have some type of protocols and you should be following them. And the CDC came out new guidelines, and that is, the law. So you should follow those. So
yeah. Everybody's got to stay on top of that. Absolutely. Anything that you guys have done specific to your practice prior to reopening? John, Ronda, can you jump in, share with us? Teresa, we can't see you. Can you hear us?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, so share with us, please, what you guys have done within your practice before reopening. How are you getting ready?
I'll go first. So we had a team meeting on Monday. Where we kind of went through, patient selection, how the process goes, how we're going to prevent any unnecessary interaction. So, on the webinar with Jules this morning, we talked about leaving the doors open except for the exterior doors so you don't have people touching doorknobs. We put up 2 planes of plexiglass at the front desk to actually divide from the reception room. And at our checkout counter, so there's a little cutout where they can pass through if needed, their debit cards or whatever check. We've allocated which operatories will be scheduled at what time, so there's a chair in between. We've got 2 air filters that are circulating throughout the office. We got 2 portable suction units, so they're going to go kind of like right here on the patient. Just to help catch some of the aerosols. We went through and got everything off the counters. We put in automatic water sinks. So before we had the handle, but now we put in automated sinks. And then it was all interesting. It was like a group effort. So we're trying to buy all this stuff online, and we can only buy like a certain amount a piece, right? It's just like the PPE. So all of us, like and myself included, that have a credit card for the practice, we all went online and we bought like automatic soap dispensers, automatic paper towel dispensers, like anything we can automate, we did. And so we all ordered however much they'd let us. And so we put that in the practice and went over PPE. We got our masks donated. Actually, it was really cool. Like the local dental society I think they gave us like 5. They're like a silicone mask, but they're better fitted. They're not an N95, but they do have a level 3 filter you put in. And I think just having those systems in place and just making sure that when we go to full steam ahead next week, we have as little hiccups as possible.
I think you guys are ready. You're ready to open today. With everything that you mentioned, it's what a great idea to go through and just make everything automated. And it makes me think, like, in our practice that I've worked for before, none of that was automated, and like we never thought about this until COVID hit. So this is incredible. What a great time to make these changes right now. John, what about in your office? How are you guys getting ready to reopen?
Well, I don't have much to add because being a federal employee at the VA, we've been open this whole time. But they've only kept a couple of systems back as far as handling emergencies. And 6 weeks ago, I was one of the ones detailed out to handle screening for people coming into the hospital. So I've been out of the dental clinic for 6 weeks now. So as far as protocols and procedures that our clinic is talking about, they don't know when. Because federally, they'll wait until everything's done before they'll open up the VA hospitals again for dental. So we'll probably wait it out, and then once everything else, we see how others are handling it, we'll jump in it again, and then I'm sure they'll bring us back and catch us up on it. I do casually talk to some of the assistants if I see them in the hallway. They'll tell us like what's going on in the clinic, but for the most part, they're only supposed to be doing emergencies. We do have one negative pressure room, but they since whenever Pennsylvania 2 or 3 weeks, they said that was mandatory, but they did away with it. And once they did away with it, they actually shut the room off. So now all the rooms are playing field and they're just seeing emergencies as needed.
Wow, yeah, it's a little bit different than how things are going for other practices, but it's so interesting to hear what you guys have done so far. Teresa, do you have anything to add?
I work at a specialty, so we've been open the whole time, but we've pretty much done everything that Ronda had mentioned. One thing that we did differently is we contacted our state health department, and they actually are donating us a lot of PPE because obviously this, like each state's different, and with our governor here in Maryland, all of the PPE went to the hospitals and that thing.
Yeah.
Nothing went to the little practices or the dental offices. And so we contacted our state health department, and they're like, of course, we would love to, donate to your practice. So they did. So each state is different, but if I was assistant in another state, I would definitely try their health department and see if they have anything that they can get donated to them as well.
That's a great idea. I haven't thought about that. I'll put this in the notes for our users too, that you guys contacted the state health department for the PPEs. What a great thought. Do we have anything else we can share with our users in terms of side hustles? Any other ideas you guys have seen with your dental assistant friends? Like I know in the last webinar we had Ronda and Julie. I messaged Tiger, and I had one of my friends. She joined VIP Kid. It's just a learning platform for children, and you have to just go through some sort of certification program. You can tutor them, teach them English. It's like an international kind of thing, or like math, language arts, and all that stuff. So any other ideas for dental assistants aside from that?
Well, with our side hustle thread, that's what's great is everybody lists what they're doing, and then we have a lot of assistants that'll say, hey, that sounds interesting, can you send me more information? So for me, I that's why I like it. It's all in one place. People can ask questions, and from there they can kind of pick and choose. People are up front as far as is there a cost to join? Is it free to join? Is there monthly membership fees? So those are things that everyone likes to factor in whenever they're making a decision, like what they want to do for a side hustle. If it's a business route, if it's looking at getting into arts and crafts, okay, what's it going to cost to buy these supplies? Where can I get them from? And then if it's something that you want to get into and you don't see, then that's where Ronda talked earlier about, just take the initiative and see what you can put together. Yeah.
Start your own thing. Very good point.
Yeah, I mean, right now I see pizza shops selling build it your own kits to take home with your family. So, I wouldn't be surprised if Jules is working on a build your own birdhouse kit.
We do. We have birdhouses, and we have trays you can make, and you can make a bag, and we have all our DIY kits right on our website, and you can pick them out, and you can go home and build them.
See, nice. And who knows when these kids are going back to school? So, when I was in school,
ours are not going back. They just said today.
Well, no, I mean as far as next year, like ours was canceled this year, but even next year, and when I was in school, we had wood shop. They're going back. Yeah. So when I was in school, we had wood shop. So this is a perfect time for Jules to wheel out all the wood goods for the kids to put together.
Oh yeah. And what about summer camp? Like I found out that summer camp is canceled for a lot of the kids. So
and I gotta put together some Mother's Day gifts here. So I'll be line tonight. I'm about ready to break out the.
I got some great Mother's Day gifts on my website.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does.
Yes.
There we go. Kits with like soap and wine glasses and cookies and towels and on our website.
Julie, send us the link. Yeah, send us the link. We'll share with our users. If someone is interested, Mother's Day is coming up. That's a great idea.
Yeah, look at this. John, and the necklace, the tooth necklace for John
had this idea. He was like, one day he's like, I want to have our own necklaces. I'm like, okay. So he found a will in a way to literally locate some dude who would make us custom necklaces that have our worldwide logo on the back.
That's so cool. Oh wow.
So not only you have tooth pride on the front and then group pride on the back.
Wow.
And they weren't expensive either. But it's you just have to be brave enough to try.
Wow. I think all of our viewers today learned so much information. I'm so grateful that we had Rhonda, Julie, and John join us, and Teresa jumped in the end. Teresa, thank you for being brave You know, in the past, we've asked people to join us, and they're like, "Nah, it's okay. I'll stay in the chat." So thank you.
It's all right. I'm part of the Dental Assistant Worldwide group, so it's all good. I'm partners with John and Ronda.
Perfect. So you're used to this. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, you guys are the originals. I'm just a sidekick.
I got all my sisters with me and brother.
I love your energy.
Poor John. Poor John.
I know. Always left out.
John's having a lot of fun over there. Yeah. Before we say goodbye to our users for today, do we have anything else to add on? Just before everybody goes back to work and, you know, with the side hustles ideas we've discussed, anything else you guys would like to add?
I would like to add a disclaimer. When you get that fire lit under your butt and all you can think about is your side hustle, don't forget that when you're at your dental practice, that's not your side hustle. You're working for your boss. I've seen too many little entrepreneurs make that mistake of trying to sell their side hustle in someone else's business. So just make sure you guys know where to draw that line. If your dentist is okay, especially if it is something that relates to the body, you need to have that discussion. Hey, doc, is it okay that if a patient asks me this, I can recommend this or have them look into that or give them my card or whatever? Because you can't hijack another business's time with their customer for your business. So just be prepared to make sure you have that clear line in the sand.
That's an excellent point. Yes, Rhonda, thank you so much for adding that on. Julie, John, and Teresa, is there anything else? Yeah.
Well, for us, I think that now's a great time to join a great group and, you know, feed that brain, right? So that's what I love about our DA Worldwide group is, you know, first of all, you have this leadership that comes together, our admin team. We work excellent together, and we're constantly coming up with new ideas to help our members. We've been doing weekly Zoom calls, and you know, for the most part, that gives people an outlet with what's going on. But it also it leads us to a certain type of assistant in our group because we're not really a rant and complain and woe is me group. We're a hey, get out there, get better group. And if you find yourself reaching on to a constant bitch fest group, then you know that's gonna drag you down. So you need that positivity surrounding you. And you know, if you're not in that type of group, then I would suggest that if that is the type of goal you want, then you need to get in those groups and out of those negative groups.
That's a great point. Very good point. Julie, anything from you before we say bye?
No, just you know what? Just do you, be you, and be who you are. And, you know, make sure you always uphold your ethics and your morals and stand up for what you believe in. Be a little outspoken. And just because you're not going to get anywhere if you don't, you just can't let people mow you over. You know, especially if things are not the way they should be, you need to speak up for yourself and for your profession. Unfortunately, you know, just, you know, you play an important role in the practice, and it's important that you stand your ground and let them know that, you know, you're not going to be pushed around about it. So it's, you know, it's a sad thing to say, but there's a lot of us out there that have had that happen. So.
Yeah, very true. All of us assistants know what that's like, for sure. Yeah.
Can't sugarcoat it. Just fix it.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much to all of you for being here today. We had an excellent discussion. I think all of our viewers learned a lot about Rhonda, Julie, Teresa, and John, and your side hustles and just how to get started, how to get back to work. So I think we have a lot on our to-do list right now. So for sure. I'm really excited about all of this. Thank you once again, and hopefully we can do one of these again. Okay. Thank you.
Right. Thanks, Iryna. Thanks, Tiger.
Reach out to Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, it's me and you. I wonder if we get to stay on here.
Uh-oh. Teresa. Oh, Teresa's gone. Oh, boy.
So, are you, there was something I was going to ask. Oh, yeah, I don't know. My brain's fried today.
You sure?